When I first saw him, he was standing by the window. His room looked out on the frozen lake. At a later time, he would call my attention to the view, noting that between the thin ceiling of clouds and the snow-covered ice, there was no differentiation. The added tangle of leafless branches along the shore reminded me of a drawing I'd once seen, I don't remember the artist, of penciled lines scrawled on a huge gray canvas. He was clean-shaven, with a head of silky white hair cut in a side-sweep style. His suit, in a Scotch plaid pattern, looked like it was made to fit a much larger man. There was a yellow stain above the top button of the jacket. I noticed that the leather of one loafer had cracked open at the toe. I was surprised he hadn't suffered from frostbite. He had his coat folded neatly over his forearm, as if he were preparing to leave. He announced in a voice that was surprisingly strong, given his emaciated condition, that he had been waiting for me. I explained that we weren't going anywhere and asked if I might hang up his coat. He used the word cordially when he accepted my offer. I surmised from his bearing and polite manners that he was far more cognizant than the report had conveyed. I began to suspect that his amnesia was, at least in some part, feigned. My approach changed within a few minutes of conversing with him. I saw that earning his trust would be a delicate process requiring patience. He was an educated man with a philosophical disposition. Initially, he preferred to discuss anything other than himself. He wanted to know what I thought about Facebook and electric cars. He asked if I had ever been to Disney World. Yes. And whether I was married. No. He was interested to hear about any books I'd read that had a lasting effect on me. His interrogation of me continued through several meetings. In this way, Guy Fraser prepared me for his own story. Only after I had nothing left to tell was I ready to listen. He admitted at the start that Guy Fraser was a pseudonym. He wouldn't reveal his real name. He kept other secrets, more minor, such as his age and the name of the village where he was born. He insisted that these things weren't important. His family raised goats and manufactured a crumbly cheese that was famous in the region. It was Guy's chore to gather the stinging nettles that his mother would boil down to make the rennet. He described how he liked to go into the mountains to search for the nettles. One day, he climbed up to a narrow shelf below a limestone outcrop where he had never been before. A mound of soft aeolian sand offered him a tempting place to rest and take in the view of the distant sea, and he had begun to level a seat for himself when the sand gave way beneath his hand, creating an opening to a hollow interior. He dug at the hole and soon was peering into a cave so deep that he couldn't see to its end. He went home and returned the next day with a lantern and 2 friends from the village. The girl, Pilar, and the boy, Mateo, were siblings and belonged to a large extended family that had made pottery for generations. Guy secretly hoped to marry Pilar, and so he put up with her older brother, though Mateo was known for his bad temper and the body odor that wouldn't wash off no matter how much soap his mother used on him. Though it's not exactly relevant, I don't want to leave out anything Guy told me, so I will mention that though he had known Pilar all his life, he first realized she was beautiful when he saw her standing in the village square, holding the hand of a little cousin. The 2 girls had stopped to watch a traveling musician play his accordion. Pilar's hair was pulled back in a single braid. She wore loose trousers colored a blue that matched the sky, and a cotton blouse, white and frothy like a cloud. Her cousin wore a polka-dot dress. Both girls wore patent leather buckle shoes without socks. They stood facing the musician, listening intently as he squeezed the bellows of his instrument. Guy, who was just 8 then, watched Pilar from the side and knew he would love her forever. When, 4 years later, he convinced Pilar to explore the cave with him, she invited Mateo to come along. Mateo carried the pole of a broken broom to use against any bats that dared to swoop too close to them, and to smash the scorpions he predicted would...